There are many ways of living happily and healthily. I do not claim to have the best of the lifestyles, but I've developed a few disciplines that have made my life better, and I want to share them with you. Please take from this video whatever you think it is useful for you. Focusing on higher values. This will allow you to stay on track and never miss a point. For instance, if you want to lose weight, then you'll focus only on losing weight. You might be caught in cycles such as binge eating and starvation, binge eating and starvation, because your only focus is losing weight. It's a very narrow focus. You might even think poorly of your body and of yourself for not accomplishing what you would want to be, therefore treating yourself poorly. However, if you focus on a higher value, let's say healthy versus just like losing weight, that it's a much more comprehensive point of view. That entails broader action, such as taking care of your body, sleeping well, eating nutritious food, versus just avoiding even good fats overall. Because if you just want to lose weight, then you're probably just going to avoid fats, even if these are good for you, and even if these are nutritious. You might, for instance, prefer Diet Coke versus eating an avocado, because it has less calories, but one is more nutritious than the other, of course, and one helps your body better and it honors your body a lot more than the other. The difference is that the positive results will be broader if you focus on higher values. Now that we've made the distinction between both of them, I will show you a few practices and disciplines that I've developed and that you can apply to everyday life. But these type of practices are at the bottom of the pyramid. I will not talk about higher values. I will just mention them maybe briefly, but I'm just going to talk about more about like the everyday practical things in your life, or disciplines, or things that you can do to have a much more spiritual house. And of course, remember to always be thankful. Try to do as much as you can with whatever you need, as much as or a little as that is. Remember Viktor Frankl's words: the ultimate liberty of man is deciding on what their attitude to life is. First of all, minimalism. Living with less stuff. Freeing yourself from things. Not collecting around. This can bring orderliness, cleanliness to your life. This can bring peace of mind and clarity. A few things that you can do are just choosing neutral colors, bring less distraction to the eye. Therefore, you don't have to focus on a certain object as much. It can allow your mind to think and focus on other things. Just cleaning your head. So I'll show you where I live. So this is the outside of the building. It's very modern, but it's not only made to look pretty. The curve shape and the balconies are also made and designed in order to break sound waves. This is very important because it's located next to a railway. When designing a building or a living space, it's important to center the design around the well-being of the people and respect nature and the surrounding areas. It's not only to think about profits or investors. As you can see, it's very sober, it has very clean lines. It's a simple but a very smart design. These are principles that you could apply to most, if not all, areas in your life. This is the building's entrance. There are a few trees here, not many. It was actually built on top of a car park, so it doesn't have much space for green areas. This is just an effort to incorporate some green in it. So there's a room in the first floor, and we call it the common area. It's a place to organize parties, give them lessons, yoga, a place to read and play. I think a well-rounded life naturally incorporates playfulness in your everyday, in your life. Again, in this place, furniture is contemporary, simple, modern, functional, and easy to move around to adapt the place and make it multifunctional. Again, these are things that you can do with your everyday life and with your persona. Stay simple, stay up to date, and flexible. This is also where I taught belly dancing. If you want to see the full choreography, I'll leave the description, I'll leave the link in the description box down below. Now let's enter the apartment. Most of its walls are actually windows. There is a beautiful glass building in front of us, so you can see that there is a lot of like glass as a topic, glass, concrete, wood. As you can see, these are the railroads, so if the door is open, you'll hear a lot of noise. But the windows have a 3 glass layer in order to make it quiet indoors. Having glass windows gives the impression of integration between the interior and the exterior. Everyone that passes by through here says hello, thus creating a sense of community, which is very important. And sometimes I feel that we just trap ourselves in our places, whether they're small or big, without really interacting with our surroundings. So making our lives smaller and smaller and smaller, isolating ourselves. Everyone here, they all know they can come and visit whenever they want to. They can come inside the apartment, whether I'm here or not, and they're always welcome. If any privacy is needed, there are some blinds that I can just pull down and no one can look inside. But I like to keep an open door. Again, I'm talking about the union of opposites. For instance, in this case, integration versus containment. So use both. Integrate aspects that seem to be opposite in your home. Keep it flexible. Now, going back to the windows, the 3-layered windows, they keep our apartment quiet. Quietness helps ease the mind. It allows us to be more aware of our inner rhythms, our heartbeat, brain activity, and respiration, thus bringing harmony to our body. By having little or no audible obstacles, higher concentration levels are easier to achieve. Next to the main door, there is a tiny living room. It's always ready to be transformed into a modest guest room. We like having people over, going out, and spontaneity. It has a TV, but we only use it for movie nights and nothing else. Minimalism makes life easier. It's easy to clean, brings openness to the space. There's more living space for yourself and less space for your inert things. A neutral space has a higher functionality. It's like a blank canvas. It's ready to receive everything inside of you or your guests' imagination. So you can transform it, decorate it, and redecorate it as many times as you need and transform it into wonderful spaces. It keeps the energy moving. Minimalism brings a sense of weightlessness and relaxation. Omit needless things, needless relationships, paraphernalia. Stick to what's important. Simple, basic, and of high quality. With everything in your life, you should do this. Everything that surrounds you, people, places, things, they all emit a frequency. The principle behind colors is that each color emits a different length wave. The more color and the more things you have around, the more vibrations you'll have around. Of course, it depends on their size, their color, shape, and material. In this modern world, we already have constant flows of information coming at us. People we meet at work, us on the street, the people around us in public transport or in traffic. And these are not always the most harmonious vibrations. Some can be quite disruptive, such as an angry coworker or even a stressed person sitting next to you on the bus. They will emit a frequency. A Zen space is needed in order to balance quietness with all the stimuli in our everyday lives. Now, regarding materials, I strongly recommend to use natural materials for your walls, furniture, clothes, and everything you're able to decide on. I love the wooden floor. It brings softness under your feet. It's a natural characteristic of the wood. It's warm and it reminds us of nature. And if wood is not possible, then maybe stone is a good place, especially for hot places, because it cools down the house. You should walk around barefoot. Remember, walking barefoot will keep your feet in shape and maintain their natural flexibility. Everyone should be doing this, but especially if you have flat feet or if you wear high heels or tight shoes. Just stretch your feet. This is a living room. Another benefit of minimalism, just taking what you need from life, nothing more, nothing less, is that even if you leave a mess and you don't feel like picking up, it doesn't feel too overwhelming because you will not have much stuff lying around. And it will also make it easier to pick it up later. When being inside the house, always take your shoes off. Think of all the things, or worse, that your shoes step on while on the street. You don't want to bring that type of dirt, which is bad energy, into your home. In many countries, it's very rude not to take your shoes off, and with good reason. Now, the kitchen. My favorite color is white. White is the union of all other colors. It brings light and it's associated with the crown chakra. Brightness, and it is weightlessness. It's a good color for spirituality. What I like about the kitchen is that it's the heart of the apartment. We all gather here. It has a large wooden table which makes group work enjoyable, and we can organize large dinner parties. It fits up to 8 chairs, but we have had people, up to 15 people dining in here. And remember, a kitchen has a stove. A stove means heat. Heat is warmth, affection, love. When you cook for someone, you should cook with love. So therefore, it's a good place for social life. The chairs, though, are not very ergonomic. Many furniture designers do not really understand the body functionality. Many times they make us lazy, make us bend or curl up. They don't really make us sit straight. If you want to read out more on this, I suggest you to read up on the Alexander method. About kitchen materials and cooking, I will make a more detailed video about it later. But from this picture you can already guess that I suggest you to use wood, stainless steel and glass, no plastic and no Teflon. Another practice is just being respectful, and that also extends to the use of the kitchen. Every time we use a kitchen, we like to leave the space clean and clutter-free for the next person to fully enjoy it. We only use natural soap, never any other type. Chances are that there will be tiny amounts of soap left in dishes even after rinsing. And where is it going to end up? That's right. You might end up swallowing some of it. Also, I think about the environment and water conservation. Use only the minimum amount of soap and water to do your dish. We have a few plants we use for cooking. It's a beautiful dynamic. You take care of them, have the enjoyment of seeing them grow, and they will provide you with flavor in your food. They remind our bodies of our relationship with Mother Earth. They teach us how to share, respect for living beings and creatures, and not abusing nature. If you don't take care of it, if you don't water it, then if you use up all the leaves, then it will dry. There must be a balance. Plants also clean air in your house. They clean toxic fumes coming from the carpets, furniture, paint, and pollution. These ones are really small, so they don't really have much of an effect. But in addition to that, we like to air the place, and since we are surrounded by trees and lots of green, then it just works well. Please refer to my previous video about the air in order to allow negative ions inside your home. It is no coincidence that plants or trees represent prosperity, and that the color green is associated with wealth and good health. These are the type of messages that your subconsciousness will absorb by just having lively plants around. Remember that your subconsciousness just absorbs everything that is around it and just everything that sees, whether we want it or not. So you just want to surround yourself with good things. This is also the same reason why you don't want to have trash, dead plants, or anything that could represent sadness, lack, or death. This is one of our drawers. As you can see, it's very neat and everything is in its place. It has a lot of color, which is very playful. It is a wine drawer, though. It's mostly to entertain. Alcohol has several mind, body, and spirit implications, but these are enough to make another video. I do not recommend these knives now, because they're covered in paint and after a while it will slowly chip off, and you don't want your food to be chopped up with something that has paint particles on that just flake away. Knives, remember, should always be stowed away and never on display. The sharp blades send out too much ki energy and disrupt harmony in a house. Feng Shui strongly suggests no sharp cutting instruments or shapes around the house. They should never be visible. And that's actually another reason why, like, pointing at someone is really rude, because you're sending out energy. Like if I did this, or that's also another reason why saints in churches do this, like with their fingers, because this is a sword. It's like, okay, I caught you, you know? At the time I filmed this video, we used to have an electric water kettle, but now I know that plastics, they release a lot of toxins, especially when heated, and especially around fatty foods. So in an effort to reduce plastic and electric apparatuses due to their electromagnetic fields, I find it just as convenient to boil water in a stainless steel pot. So there's a fridge. From the fridge you can also see that we eat mostly a plant-based diet. I am not exactly what people call raw vegan, but that's what the largest part of my diet looks like. It is very important to respect nature and living beings. We do not own this world, we are sharing it. Earth is our house, and as such, we have a responsibility to take care of it. I've never been able to cut off bread from my diet, although I still haven't made my mind on bread. I try to keep it moderate and eat more beans, cereals, legumes, and things with lower glycemic levels. Here's a picture of a small dinner we organize, vegan and healthy. These words sometimes scare people away. They think they will be too hungry, they will not be satisfied, it would taste like cardboard. So I don't always tell them, I just invite them over and don't say, oh, it's a vegan meal, just come. I don't want to scare them. So just come, and I offer no explanations unless I really know they are into these topics. And usually it's all good. So this is the corridor. I love how it has a crimson color, but because it's on the sides and not just right in front of you as you walk in, it doesn't feel aggressive. It's rather joyful, especially when there's a lot of great concrete walls in the apartment. And this area can actually be separate from the kitchen and the living room, with a secret sliding door for extra privacy for the bedroom and bathroom. This is a picture of the corridor ceiling. I just love the clean lines and the simple design. But I want to talk to you about LED light bulbs. Contain lead, arsenic, and a dozen of other potentially dangerous substances. Also remember that the bigger and brighter the illumination source is, the more potential risk there is for your retina. There's nothing better than just natural sunlight and going with the rhythms of nature. I suggest you to use dim lights instead of bright white light. You should be only exposed to brightness during daytime, at the times when you need wakefulness and awareness. Respect cycles. Day and night, awareness, rest. I never measured in this house the levels of dirty electricity, radiation, or any other types of invisible forces and pollution. However, I am sure that living right next to a railway may have an effect. There is also an antenna within less than 1 kilometer away from here. It's a telecommunications antenna, and there are many studies on people getting cancer around the area where they live if there are antennas like this around. So stay away from them. They affect insects, birds, sensitive beings, and definitely your body. I have heard that you may use dirty electricity filters to ease the pollution. I haven't used one of them, but if you do, let me know. I do suggest you to also ionize your house as much as possible. Watch my previous video for that. Reduce your electricity consumption, the amount of electric appliances in your house, in order to reduce electromagnetic fields that may disrupt your heart and brain electromagnetic fields. This is my bedroom at night. As you can see, I only use lamps for dim lighting. This allows my eyes to rest while still being able to finish my day and my melatonin levels to kick in. Most of my furniture is white. Bed sheets and pajamas should always be 100% cotton to allow your skin to breathe and not to sweat at night. I do have drawers underneath. Remember that whatever objects, people, and circumstances around you during day will affect your subconsciousness. This is especially true for your home, and even more so for your bedroom area, and even much more so for your bed area. So be careful with whatever it is in your bed. You want to feel as rested as possible. Needless to say, it has to be super clean. Don't sleep around money, your wallet, and your keys. These are work tools, and these will interfere with your rest time. Do not mix these two, they will affect each other negatively. Most importantly, do not sleep with electrical apparatuses near you. I disconnect my lamp rather than just turning it off. Especially no cell phones, but if you absolutely need it to wake up, set it in airplane mode. No iPads or Wi-Fi near you. Sometimes I would also sleep next to my crystals or place them around my bed in order to have their goodness coming into my dreams. This is my little altar area. It's a place to celebrate wealth, love, honor, my ancestors and spirits. I often move things around, it's never static. I go by feeling. Whatever I feel or I don't need anymore, I remove, and whatever I want more of, or I think it deserves a place there, I add it. Sometimes it is sparser than others. Sometimes, like in life, you need more space or a bit more of something and less of something else. In this picture, it has my beautiful everyday bags. I like to mix objects that serve me as contemplation of beauty, but also are practical. Now that I've become more knowledgeable, I would not recommend plants in your bedroom. especially not clusters of plants, as they are living beings and they release CO2 at night. No candles either. Fire excites the brain, and a room should invite restfulness. I would only recommend natural beeswax candles. The other ones release toxic fumes, and especially not scented ones. But if you are having a special guest, if you know what I mean, and if you need candles, then go ahead and do it. I have my clear quartz here, where I let my everyday earrings and ring rests in order to reset them and clean them during night. I do not wear fantasy jewelry because, as fake plants do, they are just a smoke screen. They're just for appearance. They will never compare to the real nature and usefulness of the real material. Artificial plants will never produce oxygen, negative ions, or grow. Gold and natural stones have certain frequencies and material characteristics that fake jewelry will never have. Some people even will get their ears infected unless they use gold. It's no wonder surgical scalpels are made out of silver or gold for their antimicrobial properties. However, back to my altar and back to the days where I took this picture. The reason why I have this orchid here is because it's one of the first gifts I received. Therefore, I decided to honor my friendship with that person and place a plant in here. I often admired cute letters or gifts and placed them in this altar and rotated them every now and then. The altar should never be dusty, should never have a dominant place in your home. Also, a room should have no mirrors and no TV. This is my desk and workstation. I have changed my mind many times trying to figure out which is the best way to set it up, because I had to spend a lot of time working in here. I changed the screen, raised it up at eye level by a flexible keyboard, a mouse and a piece of soft cloth to use underneath my wrist, chair and cushions to sit straight and comfortably. Remember the Alexander method. My leg, I used to sit in a lotus or half lotus position. I like to stand up and sit down sometimes when I had to write a lot. This is my creative window at the moment. It was a very busy time for me, so it has mostly notes and important deadlines. But I used to practice my left hand in here as well. I used to have a lot of drawings in this mirror. I drew a tree with my left hand, a hamsa. I like to have little messages for myself like love, live, learn. It's good to practice and try to draw with your left hand or do everyday life stuff with your left hand as much as possible in order to practice both sides of the brain hemispheres. It's important to have a creative corner in your house, so therefore that's why I use this window. Now this is a balcony. Here we're very lucky because we can honor the mountain and the water in the lake every day. So this is a city, and this is the fountain, the jet d'eau, and that's in Mont Blanc. So we are very lucky to admire snow and have some wind around. And remember, being clean and having a good space doesn't mean that you should just keep it like that always. Remember, it's for you, it's to live, and not you do it for yourself and not to keep your things in order. That's just secondary. You should always fill your place with love and friendship, create good memories and enjoy. Did I mention we love to party? So that's all for now. Remember, be the best you can be, and until next time.